know who you are. I know a lot of my people do listen to Archaics and do listen to Jason. And he did a little bit yesterday about, somebody asked him about RH negative, and he said, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just foolish, basically, was what he was saying. It's foolish to even think that, because if you're being reincarnated, because that is his premise, and I believe that we do as well, you are reincarnated, and you're reincarnated into every different type of person, so that you have a perfect and round experience as a spiritual being. And I agree with him 100%. But we're in a special time today. We are in a special time today. And those who have been set apart and have been called are speaking now and are coming out. And the RH negative, for you to have that avatar, even if you believe that you are a spirit being just as equal as all the rest of the spirit beings, of course we are, but under different development, under different stages of development. If you have been fitted in this lifetime with an RH negative avatar body, come in that lineage, you have been selected, you have gained, you have overcome, you have achieved, you have become in your previous lifetimes to be able to, what would it be? Gain or win the right to have this avatar. Every avatar, every body is not equal to every other body. As we know, people have illnesses and brain damage and many different things that cause a person to be able to not function mentally, physically, spiritually. And that is what they are learning at this time. When they are in a body like that, they are learning that, and they are growing from that. So we do know that there are different levels of spirit in different bodies. Not that any is any better, it's just everyone is in a different learning, training, ability, level, grade. Okay? So somebody like Jason from Archaics, by the way, there are certain signs that you can see whether somebody is RH negative or have a strong affiliation towards it. In other words, their mother or father have it, or maybe even their siblings are RH negative, is by looking at their hands. And Jason has RH negative hands, so he has the veins that protrude on the top. This is this is an RH negative trait. Our veins are higher in the dermis than the average person, so we get called the blue or blue bloods. We get called that because it's very prominent on an RH negative, especially with women as they get older. Past your 30s, you will find, all of you RH negative women, that you will be much more veiny in the hands. So the hands are one of those things that will show that you are RH negative. You have an affinity, if you have red hair, green eyes, to have RH negative. That means probably it would be in your ancestry, maybe your mother or something. But the veins are a very good giveaway, and Jason does have that. So his ability to retain knowledge at the level that he is, to be able to sprout out and to be able to be so coherent is very common amongst RH negative people, O negative. Now, he said that he doesn't know what his blood type is, and I believe that he doesn't, but I am looking at so many different traits that he has, showing that chances are, if he's not RH negative, he has somebody in his family, immediate family, who is. We found, who is that? Rob Skiba was one of them as well. A wonderful speaker, was able to put so many links together, because that's what RH negative for our brains. We can gather information from long spans and really just like put that together. That's why when I first introduced myself to Jason, I told him I understood a lot of the stuff that he and I had come to the same conclusions on my own, because I have the same type of brain. And he accused me at that time that stealing his stuff, thinking that, oh, well, I just heard what he had to say and then I just, made it into my own, although I had just started listening to him. That's arrogance, by the way, because if it's the truth, and you have to understand, if it's truth, more than one person's going to find it on their own. So anybody who thinks like that is just needs to have some more lessons of humility. I mean, that's what that whole prison was all about. And I know myself, I've went through a lot of humility in my life to be able to put me in, and I'm still working on that one. But that's probably one of the biggest things with RH negative, is that we end up getting put into situations that humiliate us, that humble us, that make sure that we understand that we are, that we have to be humble in our approach in the way that we are. And that's a hard one for most RH negative people, because we see more than others. We get more than others. When other people are just still trying to bang it around in their head to understand, we're past that. And, I'm the kind of person that as you are speaking, I know what you're going to say. And it's not out of ignorance. It's just that I can perceive ahead of time where your brain is thinking. I get your vibrations and understand ahead of time. And that's what you will find that most RH negative people have, this ability. They have the ability, many abilities for one thing. The majority of RH negative, or a lot of us, have stigmatism. And you think, oh, that's silly. It's a problem, right? Having a stigmatism. No, it's actually not. You have a concave lens, which makes it so that you can see into other realms, or you can see other, what a normal person who doesn't have astigmatism cannot get. So that's when you feel like you've seen something in the side of your peripheral vision. And when you think that you saw a person or something like that, those are from the concave lens. And if you don't understand how important a concave lens is, in that the Catholic Church actually built a lens called Lucifer, I think it's called. Is it called Lucifer? And which is an interesting name, and it's a concave lens. They gave the lens astigmatism, and what they are doing is they're trying to see in the other realms, and they do actually. There are videos out there showing with this, when they have a concave lens, all of the different forms that they could not see with a normal lens, but now can see. And it's film. You can go and look and see all of the different creatures that they have captured. And if you are RH negative and if you have astigmatism, chances are you have seen many things. And other people think that you are mentally ill because you see things that they don't. And because of that, because I know myself, I have astigmatism. And I have seen many things throughout my lifetime. But along with that, what happens is, if you can see them, they make their presence known. They're more active around you, so they'll slam the doors, they'll slam cupboards, they'll open up drawers, they'll make noise, like they'll say hello to you. Or when other people, I've had many people around when spirits have acted up, so I know it's not just my imagination. And because... And I put a lot of protection around me, because I've realized now how powerful I am. So this doesn't happen to me like it used to, because I really protect myself spiritually in my home spiritually. So I recommend that you guys do that. But if you do have these abilities to see beyond the veil, they know that. And so they will make their presence known. So if you guys have this, where you're constantly having crazy things that are happening around you. No, that's the reason why, because you have the ability to sense them, and they know it, and they want to make their presence known. So I recommend that everyone who does have this ability, if you don't want it on their every day to be terrifying you, is put the white light, the Holy Spirit, expand it from your soul, expand it from your chest, and put it around you, and expand it around your home of protection, that nothing can come into that space unless it's there to help you. And that's what I do. I do that on a regular basis, and believe me, it works amazing, guys. It really does. So continue to do your work like that, your meditational work, to protect yourself. And believe me, I know that Jason says that he doesn't believe in meditation. But for you that have been given this avatar, you need to learn to control it. You need to protect it. And you need to be able to communicate with the ones that are trying to communicate with you. Because if you have this avatar at this time, you were meant to. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't everybody, and I'm not just talking about RH Naked. There's other people as well that have special avatars, have special beings, so that they can communicate, so that they can get more streams of knowledge quicker. This is what you are. So yes, it absolutely matters. And there is a reason why you are RH negative at this time. I believe at one time, most people were RH negative. As a matter of fact, the archaeological record shows that, or the DNA record, when they start to go through. Because one thing that I found when I started looking at just trying to find my lineage, and then going back into Cro-Magnon and all of these, our ancestors, what were they? Were they RH negative? Could they detect that? And what I found was everybody comes up as just, when they start doing the blood tests in the most ancient, because they cannot in a very old specimen detect antigens, which is any antigen, because A is an antigen, so is B an antigen, and the D antigen, of course, what makes that you don't have, and all the others. So when they talk about Neanderthal especially, they are saying that they had a super RH negative. In other words, they didn't have any antigens of any form whatsoever on them. So, you've been around for a long time. Your history has been around for a long time. So I believe that RH negative was probably, but there's no way to prove it, because the antigen degrades as the specimen gets older. So they're not able to actually find one way or another. The only way that they choose how they use the information, what I found out by having this long discussion with artificial intelligence about what they've actually found, is they go by statistics, what they have today. So they think, as today, only 15%, that's kind of the number they like to use, even though it's much less. They go by this statistic, and they say, well, that means in the past it had to have been like that. So, it must be a RH negative having no antigens, must be a mutation. Okay, so that's what they're going by. It's statistical of today. So whenever they are saying, this is what this was, they have no way of knowing that there was even antigens in the past. It's a statistical, mathematical equation to be able to tell us what was there in the past. And to me, that is hyperbole. hyperbole. It can be truly distorted and changed because they're only going by statistics. They're not going by actual fact or material or anything like that. So that's where I stand on that. Like I said, I had this long discussion, a few hours with artificial intelligence, and we went through this, and I asked them repeatedly, can they detect in these ancient antigens? And he continued, or the artificial intelligence, no, the sensitivity of the equipment is not there to detect it. So when they tell you that they were all of these others, there's no way. It's a statistical, mathematical equation that they're coming up with that has nothing to do with anything that they actually have. So this is really when it comes down to it, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So getting back to Jason saying that it does not matter whether you're Rh negative. Well, it does matter because for some reason you were put in a body that can see outside, can see more, that have a brain that can piece together a lot more information. Matter of fact, your brain on an average, the statistics on the average is like 140 and up is your IQ. I'm not at that. I think when I did do it, my IQ was, I think it was 129. I was just 1 degree out. But then another time that I took it, because I was more fully awake, and that's why that was IQ test, I was 132. So so mine isn't at the highest level but I think the IQ also has a lot to do with what you bring in. So maybe today, if I take the test, it might be higher, it might be lower, but it really has to do with what the information you've expanded. Your brain, your synapses are going at a higher speed because you've added to your intelligence, and you can actually bring up your IQ because they know that your brain is malleable and that it does. Plastic, what did they say? It can grow. It can make more connections. As you get older, as you add. If you don't do anything, if you don't read, if you don't add to yours, you actually start to shrink all of that, and so you will never gain spirituality in that life. If you don't use your brain really has a lot to do with it. And the more that you use your brain, your intelligence, and you're adding to those synapses, the more that you get your upper brain, and then it goes into your pineal gland, and you have not connected. And so that's really what's going on there. So, continue to meditate and study and research and open your mind, and try not to be a closed-minded person. And don't always worry about what somebody else says, like Jason from Archaics, who dismisses you. Communicate yourself and come to your own of who you are and know who you are. I guess that's the whole thing. What is your purpose for today? Because we are all at a precipice in this world. We are at a time, I believe, that each individual person who is called to speak, that was set before you were born. So your avatar, what you have right now, was meant for you, so you could fulfill, so you could understand, so you could carry out what needs to be done today. And you probably understand that already if you have been investigating who you are and why you are so incredibly different than the average person around you. But one thing I want you guys to know, because I've heard too many of you saying that you live in a dark world, stop it. Stop thinking like that, because you create your own world. If you believe there is resistance around you, you will only find resistance, because that is what you are projecting, and you will only bring it back, your energy. And you will only connect with the energy that vibrates with what you are thinking and what you're feeling. So please, meditate, love yourself. I think that's the first thing that you need to do. Remember who you are. live in love and light, everybody. I hope this helped you with thinking about who you are and realize you are meant to be here right now.